Hello everyone and welcome back. It is good to see you all again. It has been a few hot minutes since I last put a video out and I apologize for that, but now we're gonna be back in full force here. It's also been a little while since I last did a plugin walkthrough for you guys, so I figured today while we're here, why not go through the new Timeless 3 delay plugin that FabFilter released last month. I'm a little late to the game on this, but if you haven't had the chance to check this plugin out yet, you really should look into it. I upgraded from Timeless 2 when this came out, and I've been playing with it for a while, and let me say, it really is a major improvement from their previous iteration. Not only that, it has a lot of crazy stuff that makes it a real beast when it comes to delay and just creative effects in general. If you know me, you know that I love pretty much all plugins that FabFilter made. I wasn't a huge fan of their previous Timeless 2 plugin simply because of its interface and how it worked, but I am loving using this new plugin in pretty much every production I make. So let's get right into it. First, let's take a look at the general functions. As you can see, the plugin looks very streamlined. It all centers around this one very easy to use delay knob that controls your main time. It also has this nice delay time pan function right here that lets you give it sort of a stereo panning option, gives you a very nice stereo delay sound. And you can see all the adjustments are now visually displayed up in the top left here in the delay display. This also includes when you adjust the feedback options down here on the right, such as just the feedback amount and the pan. Now, what I think is absolutely ingenious is that this plugin actually allows you to custom design your own delay options. So no longer are you locked into rigid 16th, quarter note, eighth note grid options, and you also don't have to be limited simply by using freehand time delay in milliseconds. If you click on taps above the delay display, you can actually add in individual delay ticks, change to left, right, middle, change their volume, where they sit in your delay, and then when you zoom out, you can see that that custom pattern that you made repeats itself. To my knowledge, currently no other delay plugin on the market has an option like this. They also integrated a very familiar looking EQ function over on the right here, very similar to their Pro Q series EQ options. They also integrated a very familiar looking EQ function, which is very similar to their Pro Q series EQ over on the left here. You can have up to 6 different EQ bands, which is more than enough options in terms of the fact that it's a delay plugin. And this just gives you a whole bunch of options for creativity and modifying your delay. The best part about this actually comes when you start messing around with the Timeless 3 modulation section and modulating these EQ bands. As you can see, each EQ band has standard EQ controls such as Q, pan, and you even have options to select between all the standard EQ passes, bands, cuts, shelves, notches, whatever you want. Now, as you can see, this already gives you a fair amount of options when it comes to the delay itself. Most plugins don't have this much of an interactive EQ, and they definitely don't have that taps function that allows you to go in and individually customize your delay. But we also have creative options on the left here, including a drive distortion, a lo-fi effect, diffuse options, dynamic control, and pitching effects. Now, already what we have at the top section here is more than enough for a world of creative options, but adding these extra knobs in gave the plugin so much more depth, I found, when playing with it, because not only can this be an effective delay plugin, but now you can actually customize your own custom reverbs in this plugin, which is really cool. Mess around with the dynamics. You can distort the delay right in the same plugin. You don't have to bring in a third-party one. And you can actually play with the delay options pitch. For example, here is a saw wave. And now here's a saw wave put through Timeless 3 with some diffusion, distortion, and EQ options applied. This plugin also offers a lot more options when it comes to just crazy shit. To show it off a little bit, I just made this really quick session with some basic synths and some basic drums. Let's take a quick listen to it. Now let's pull up Timeless. Now this of course covers most of the library's main major functions, but now we get to talk about that modulation that we mentioned a little while ago. They made so many creative options here, it is impossible to figure out how to use it all. If you open up the modulation options at the bottom, you can already see you can make a variety of custom modulators from sliders, XY controls, various envelope modulators, and even a custom LFO option called the XLFO here. These can be mapped to just about anything from individual filter bands, the creative controls, or even individual taps under the tap controller. This makes for some pretty interesting effects options. My personal favorite is actually the XLFO option. This can be turned into a sequencer, which allows for 16 different varying steps to be used at any given time. This includes options for sine waves, linear, square waves, random options, and a couple more unique customizations as well. As you can see, the library also comes with standard syncing options so that you can sync it to your DAW tempo or you can modulate it free. It also comes with ping pong options on the left here. And it comes with two different delay types, tape and stretch. Tape gives you some really unique pitching options actually when you use it and modulate it like this. And it also has this cool freeze option. Now, as I said, literally everything and anything on this plugin can be modulated with these modulation controls. So if I wanted to, I could even map this XFLO option to the freeze option, to the lo-fi, to the dynamic, can even modulate it to the dry wet knob, the mix, literally anything. You can modulate other modulators as well. You can even modulate other modulators to modulate how much you're modulating one control. A great example of this is some of the stock modulation you get when you load the plugin up, especially this instability option. As you see, when I pull the slider up, you can see everything up here just starts to shake a little bit. That's because you have this random LFO modulating your delay time, and then you have this other step sequencer modulating how much randomization is happening, and both of those are controlled by this instability knob, which is just a simple slider. Huge props to Ralph with the FabFilter team for actually explaining to me how that got set up. Now, I don't have enough time to go over absolutely everything this plugin has to offer in extreme detail. However, I highly recommend checking it out if you get the chance, because it simply has so much to offer in terms of workflow and creative design. When they upgraded this plugin, they definitely went for a more modern FabFilter look as well, which is really nice to look at. Even comparing it side by side to their old Timeless 2, it looks like an entirely new plugin with a completely revamped interface and a completely from the ground up new set of options. That's going to be just about it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you go check this out. I'm not sponsored by FabFilter or anything. I just genuinely love their plugins, so please give it a chance. You'll love it. In my opinion, it's one of the best delay plugins on the market, and FabFilter makes some of the best stuff that I've ever used. We're going to be putting out regular videos again now, so stay tuned for those as well, and I will see you guys next time. Enjoy your week. Bye-bye.